Sean Christopher Haire, aka Sean O'Haire, professional wrestler, has passed away at the age of 43. He was a former wrestler who worked in WCW. He also had worked in the WWF/E, did some stuff in New Japan, went into kickboxing, martial arts, ended up becoming a hairstylist. Passed away at the age of 43. The way that it's looking right now, it just said he passed away. Cause of death is unknown at this point, but I mean, at the age of 43, you kind of can't help but wonder, I don't want to speculate. I really do not want to speculate, but I know we're going to have those, especially those that's going to be in the news media outlets. They're going to look at this, they're going to latch onto it, they're going to put that question out there, if steroids and or drugs might have been a contributing factor to his death, even if it was a case where maybe he might have been clean for X amount of years, just the fact that he did do it, and maybe he did it a lot years back, that just might be enough for them to run with, and it's unfortunate. I'm not going to speculate on how I think he may have passed, but what I will do is offer my thoughts on this man. Honestly, I thought he had a great fucking look. He had a really great and unique look, to the way his body was, to the type of tattoos that he had. Loved the guy tremendously. He had a nice look. Probably one of the most underrated wrestlers I felt that was out there at the time, especially when he came on board the WWE. I really thought that this guy had like future championship material. I thought that this guy was going to be like a future WWE champion, if the cards played right. That's just the type of look that he had. I mean, he had the nice long hair, although it wasn't too long. Had some nice, really good boyish charm looks to him. Definitely one of those type of guys you could probably build your company around. And when we did see him in World Wrestling Entertainment, he was part of an alliance attacking the Hardy Boys. Him and Chuck Palumbo, they have feuded with the APA. Remember, it was during the whole invasion thing, the alliance, the whole WCW, right around that time where Vince McMahon had bought WCW and all that. That's when we pretty much were first introduced to Sean O'Haire and all that. We had saw him and Chuck Palumbo. They had eventually became the tag team champions. They would lose them to the Brothers of Destruction's Kane, Undertaker. Afterwards, he would begin feuding with the Holly cousins, Hardcore Holly and Crash Holly. Eventually, we saw him get kicked out of the alliance. From there, he had went on down to OVW, where he had hooked up with Kenny Bolin. I'm sure you guys had remembered that. But then he came back to the main roster and was repackaged. He kind of had like this gothic type of very dark character that was going on. And he was always encouraging people to not go to church, don't pay your taxes. It was kind of cool the way he was operating. Matter of fact, I remember his catchphrase, and I'm really bummed out that it didn't catch on. He would always say in his little vignettes as he was getting ready to make his debut, if you will, on the main roster, and then even after the fact, he would always say, "I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know." And just the way that he would do it, it was like freaking awesome. I actually remember when he was being managed briefly by the Hot Rod, Roddy Piper. And I thought that was like, wow, I'm thinking this guy's really going somewhere, especially when he got victories over Hulk Hogan, who at the time was dressed up as Mr. America. But still, it's not every day that you can say you had beat the legend Hulk Hogan. He beat Chris Benoit, the late Eddie Guerrero. I mean, he looked like he was on that fast track pace to become one of the main eventers in the WWE. He was involved in a motorcycle accident which had required stitches, and it kept him out of action for a month or two. He came back. He was automatically sent down to OVW, and then shortly after that, he was released by the WWE. Now, I'm telling you guys, Sean O'Haire, he's never done a shoot interview. Very surprising. He's never done anything, to my knowledge, with kayfabe commentaries or RF video, high spots. I can't even think of a podcast that maybe had the opportunity to interview him and get to the meat and potatoes of why he and WWE had parted ways. You know, what exactly had came about, what was said, what did he say. Nothing like that ever came to fruition, and over the years it just kind of built this big old mystique with Sean O'Haire, right to the point that there was actually a resurgence from folks that was like, hey, you know, maybe this guy should do a shoot. He probably would have a lot of cool stories to tell, especially given the lengthy career that he had being involved in wrestling. I mean, he basically went from like maybe the late 90s all the way up until maybe mid 2005, 2006. And as we told you guys, he had went into kickboxing for a little bit, did some mixed martial arts. He did work with the Pride promotion. One thing I do want to stress about Sean O'Haire that I think really needs to be stressed, as far as his in-ring ability goes, that man can fucking wrestle. Honestly, that man could fucking wrestle. It's funny too, because when I look at Randy Orton, I do see shades of Sean O'Haire. And you know, from time to time, because I was a huge Sean O'Haire fan, huge fan of his, I could remember looking at Randy Orton at times off and on during the years and just say to myself, man, you know, if Sean O'Haire was still in the WWE, I wonder what he'd be doing right about now. Maybe he'd be paired up with Randy Orton, possibly. Could work, right? I mean, it could work. But it's unfortunate, you know. Now, there was an interview that Sean O'Haire had did with Squared Circle Radio, but it's years back. It's probably like maybe late 2006 or 07, where he had talked about getting a divorce from his wife. And at that time, he was talking about how he was doing work as a bodyguard and all that. That much I can remember offhand. But he's definitely, I'm going to miss him. Those of you that might be a little bit curious as far as his mixed martial arts record, basically, when it's all said and done, I am looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He had 6 matches. Of those 6, he won 4 of them. So that's a pretty good record. He's 4-2. That's a pretty damn good record. I definitely am going to make sure we have this be an excerpt on our YouTube channel, and I definitely want to get you guys reactions, get your thoughts on Sean O'Haire. You can even talk about some of your favorite moments of his wrestling career. But big piece of news right here.